I want to put a frost-free faucet in here. To do that, I need to shut this valve off. Definitely work better right-handed. There. Now that I have the valve shut off, I need to go outside and open up the line and drain the valve. Hello again, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. Today we're going to be putting a frost-free faucet on the house. I put one on the back already. Now I'm getting around to put the one on the front. What I need to do, I already have this line shut off and drained. I'm going to go outside, measure out how far this line sticks out of the house so I can determine how long the pipe has to be. Then I'm going to cut this pipe off so I can solder this fitting piece on the end of it and make a short section of pipe to take the water into the back of this valve. Once I get this measured, cut, this fitting soldered on the end of it, then I can thread it all together and have it installed. One of the things I need to do, this line is designed so that there's a valve in the back of it, clear back here. So once you shut the water off, all the water stays inside the house. But I need to have it angled down so that it drains. Whenever you shut the water off, this valve closes, the water that's in this line drains out. There's a little vent cap here to make sure that it breaks the vacuum so that the water can drain out of the line. So when I have that in and sitting the way it's supposed to, which is helped by this little washer here, it's got a taper on it, allows you to have the valve sitting at an angle. When I get that done, I'll thread all this together and we should be all set to go. One of the other things that I have to do is they cut a hole in the stone wall on the outside front of the house, and when they cut it quite big. They only had a 1/2-inch copper line running through it, and the hole's about 1.5 inches. So that made an entrance hole for mice to get in behind the stone wall. I'm going to mortar that shut so that we won't have that problem anymore. So let's get started. Two and 1/8. And I can see that this line is still dripping, so I might not have that valve downstairs shut completely off. Now it's a project. We'll just make sure that that's shut off. If I can't get it to shut off, I may just have to put a bucket underneath it and catch whatever little bit of drip runs through that valve. I don't want to have to shut off the house and drain the whole house just to replace that valve. Whoever plumbed this in, put it in with Teflon tape. And that was a good thing. Because Teflon tape doesn't stick. The old-fashioned plumber's dope was either chalk or bentonite mixed with linseed oil and white lead. And that tended to harden. And once it hardened, you were not going to change its mind about where it was going to be. Teflon tape holds on your story. Stays slippery forever. At least as long as I've known. Okay, now I got to go outside and get that pipe fitting. That's quite a length of pipe going into that wall. Now that's okay. It's even better because with this long a pipe length, I don't have to worry about that 1 foot long valve being too long to fit in there. It'll definitely be able to cut off that section of pipe right there and we'll be good to go. I think I need to shut that valve off. That's going to be Chinese water torture if I have to listen to that dripping. slower, but not off yet. I want it off. Slowed way down. I think that's close enough. Eyeballing to get a rough idea. Now this one is 22.5. I found that when you're doing something like this, a little sketch helps. And this valve is 12.5. That means I need to have a 10-inch long piece going from the valve in the house to this valve if I want to have this remain exactly the same as that was. But that was sticking out 2 1/8 inches. So I really only need a 22.5 minus 12 1/2 minus 2 1/8, which leaves me 7 7/8. Now here's where the guesswork comes in. When you're threading pipes together, there's something called make, and the make is the distance that this threaded piece goes onto that threaded piece. You assume, always dangerous to assume, but you assume that you go on at least one diameter. I found that I never do get to go one full diameter. If I was cutting the threads, I might be able to say, yeah, I'm going to do one full diameter. But this is a factory that cuts them. And they don't use my measurement system. So the factory says, on this 3/4 inch pipe, we're going to go 600 thousandths, a little more than a 1/2 inch. And the actual pipe diameter is 1 inch. So I'm going to go about a 1/2 inch. This is, when these two go together, it's going to end up a 1/2 inch less than whatever this was when it started. So I'm going to lose a 1/2 inch on that. In order to assemble this thing, I need to have that pipe go inside this tube. And that is going to give me just about a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to lose 1 inch overall in the make on this pipe to get this to thread together. So I need to cut this so that these two pipes will come out where I want them. Now I eyeballed a pencil mark here. If I cut it right there, that would end up this end of the pipe would end up exactly where that one was. But this one was sticking 2 1/8 inch out of the house further than what I want it to. I wanted to have it flush up against the stone. So this would be how long I would have to cut it to get it to be exactly flush. This is where I would have to cut it to get it to fit where it used to be. I need to have it 2 1/8 inches shorter than that. So that means I'm going to cut this piece of copper tubing right here, that pencil mark. Then I'm going to solder this piece onto it.